Good morning. Good Thursday morning, and welcome to yet another sort of chaotic day. Uh, I knew I was going to be a little late this morning. Uh, I apologize yesterday. Constance and I talked to you from the parking lot of Sprouts, and for some reason I had technical difficulties shortly after uh, Constance said her uh, observations yesterday, and when she left, and it was time for me to do my thing, my phone rang, and I was, broadcasting from my phone, and for some reason the phone screwed stuff up, and so the whole second part of my talk was uh, interrupted. I tried it again, and my phone fizzled out. I don't know what it was. So I apologize as if it was my fault. As Bob Dylan says, I'll keep it with mine. Anyway, uh, lots of news has been fascinating us lately. There was sort of exciting and cautiously optimistic or encouraging news on the electoral front yesterday. But what's really capturing, should be capturing everybody's attention is this thing in the sky or in the space. It's coming around the sun toward us right now, or soon to be, uh, that they identify as 3I slash Atlas. Now, it's a strange thing, okay? It's a very strange, at first they said it was a comet, and then a really big comet, and then it was acting like comets don't act, behaving in such a way. Recently, I guess about 5 days ago, they said there was like biological signatures within it, and then just overnight they say it's 1,000 times bigger than we thought it was, and it's just very tantalizing. And for somebody who's a science fiction uh, nut since I was a kid, it's just wow. And with the rest of the world just going to hell, you're thinking all sorts of uh, prophetic and Armageddonish, and people are saying, "Oh, is Jesus coming back?" Well, he's coming back if that's the case, he's coming back in a very interesting vehicle, and the story's not over yet. And yeah, yesterday, I guess, or early today, I posted an article. It's like a scientific paper itemizing all of the strange anomalies that this thing has been exhibiting. And it's a with links to all of the dates and hours and computations and stuff. And if one would read it, one would come to the conclusion of a real possibility of uh, an intelligent behavior behind this thing. Now, of course, like everything else on planet Earth at the moment, it's a possibility that everything is remote. It doesn't have to have little green creatures in it. And it's behaving like it's on a tour of our solar system, as if, remember the opening lines of Star Trek? This It's the adventures of the Star Trek uh, Starship Enterprise, whose 5-day mission is to seek out well, if anybody wanted to just gather scientific information about our solar system here, because we're a solar system that is conducive to life, uh, it would take a tour of all of our planetary orbits. It would take a tour, like they took a picture of it from Mars, let's say. But it's like that, well, let's see what this planet is, and let's see what this planet is, and let's see what this planet is. And maybe we'll refuel behind the sun over here. And the one that appears like it's got blue and water and oxygen, hydrogen and stuff. Um, let's check that out too. So it may very well be, and I probably expect after it makes its little tour around everything, that it'll go along its merry way with uh, having collected the information that it's going to collect. That being said, it appears that it is behaving in such a way as theoretical physicists have expected a vehicle coming out of warp drive. Like on Star Trek, there's warp drive. It's not so much that it's going faster, but it's in a sense it's folding space. And what appears to us as a very fast-moving thing, in a sense, is something that is folded space, right? I don't know how to describe it, other than it's fucking with time also in order to do that. At least it appears from another observation point that it's fucking with time. Here, time is going because we're used to our own gravitational neighborhood here. But anyway, ever since I was a kid, trying to get myself out of Nebraska, I tried to attune myself with extraterrestrials because, I believed in flying saucer people, but I didn't believe in Jesus. Okay. That's absurd, but I actually think that the universe is so big that there's got to be things that are even smarter than us and even more terrible than us and different than us. And I'd say, come get me out of Nebraska. And I joke and say, I volunteer. You can probe me if you want, just get me out of Nebraska. It's got to be more interesting than Nebraska. And but when Constance and I were first married, we moved to Southern Oregon, and which was UFO sighting carnival. Okay, it was central. The people moved there just because of the UFO activities. And I don't want to say that this three-eye atlas thing is of the same nature of the phenomena that we observed, because that seemed like stuff on a small scale. We would see groups of seeming stars at night, and they would all move together across the sky. And I saw just a classic image of like a hubcap thing, just like 90, 120 feet off the ground, right where we lived in broad daylight. Okay, and then just literally, it went after. It was going about 20 miles an hour, sort of following me across the barnyard. And I was so excited, and I saw it, and then all of a sudden it looked like it just got smaller until it disappeared in an arc. It wasn't getting smaller, it was just accelerating that fast that in my view it just went like that. And then, oh gee, we saw this other one that actually made a kind of a thundering sound at night by the Illinois River there. Yeah, so there's no problem with me accepting the fact, just a normal fact that I'm not spooked at all. It's not even weird phenomena for me to think that there's intelligent life, or yes, intelligent life in other quadrants. But this thing is coming from a far, far, far away, and it's come really fast. And we've been observing what appears to be all of a sudden the appearance, from our point of view, of a new black hole phenomena, and it makes radio sounds and stuff like that. And that happened just before all of a sudden we see this literally an object, as if, and now they're saying, well, that's really not a black hole. That was the phenomena that would appear like that to us if an object is coming out of warp drive. Now, I'm not a physicist, I'm not a scientist. You can just ridicule me all you want. But people who are publishing very, very interesting and provocative explanations of what could be happening to cause what we're observing to happen. And it's not a comet. And so when I posted that thing this morning, several of my Facebook friends said, "Ooh, do a divination about it. You know, ask the cards." And someone said, "No, ask the Yijing." Well, I did both just before. And here was my question. We'll start with my Yijing divination. And it was just a very, I didn't pull out my yarrow stalks as we stay in the OTO. But I did a quick stick throw. And my question was, how best can I describe Three-Eye Atlas to my friends? That's you. You're my friends. And I didn't throw the sticks. I did how Grady McMurtry showed me Crowley did. I just tried to absorb myself in the curiosity of that question. And I closed my eyes and I held each stick up against the center of my forehead. And then with my eyes closed, I laid the stick down. And I did that 6 times, going from the bottom up. Now, I didn't know if it was a broken line or a unbroken line. And I've got one of my sticks at the end painted black, so I treat that as one moving line. And here's, I got hexagram number 26, okay? And I looked it up in my Wilhelm Baines ones, and I haven't looked it up in Benny Belwen's marvelous Yijing yet, but I will. But believe it or not, the Yijing of Milo is my go-to preliminary Yijing. It's my own. I wrote it myself, line by line. Number 26 is The taming power of the great. Okay, it's there. Looks like that, 26. It's got all male lines on the bottom, all yangs on the bottom. And then on the top, it has the symbol of Earth. The taming power of the great. Get out of the house and conquer the world. But first broaden yourself. Read the classics. Study history. Then make history. Now, because this is an oracle book, that didn't sound very cosmic, did it? But it's taming power of the great. Okay. But in my book of ordinary oracles, every page of the book has an oracle of its own in the thumbnail. So not only do I look things up here to see what the Yijing says, I look in the side. And the oracle, the thumbnail oracle for this page 180, is a vampire needs an invitation. Don't give one. Now, granted, the Yijing didn't tell me that, but the page in which the Yijing hexagram is written about carries that message. Well, because you'll notice there's a little check mark by the second one from the top. That means that's a moving line. And that moving line changes from let's see here, from a broken line over here to a unbroken line. And that changes the hexagram to hexagram number 9. Now remember, 26 was called the taming power of the great. But number 9, I know some of you are ahead of me on this, the taming power of the small. Things are way too hairy for drastic action. Little things can be done, and a light touch will be required. And the thumbnail oracle for that page is, has your luggage been in your control the whole time? I know they're cutesy little things, but to me, it's a serious oracle. It's the taming power of the great turning to the taming power of the small. 2 other oracles. A vampire needs an invitation. Don't give one. Has your luggage been in your control the whole time? Now, all of you Yijing people out there, that draw was also for you. So get out your favorite Yijing and interpret it any way you want for the question, how best could Lon describe 3-eye Atlas to my friends? I mean, how could you explain it to others? Okay. Somebody else says, do a tarot divination. So I did that too. And I drew 3 cards. The Prince of Swords, that's heir of air. Notice there's a Yijing hexagram for that too, so we'll get to that in a moment. Prince of Swords. Okay, that's a date, just past the first of the year coming up. The 6 of Discs. Now, I believe it was in that early May decade there, or certainly before after that, that we first started to notice weird things coming from I believe it was the area of the sky, generally Sagittarius. And the third card is the 9 of Wands. Now that's a December date here that just sort of kind of the first week to midweek December. And the 10 middle degrees of the 30 degrees of Sagittarius. And it's called Great Strength. So, divinatory wise, there's a lot of room to interpret it, but it doesn't say anything about little green men coming to take Lon up on his offer to probe him. But if you're a tarot person, you have your own divinatory ways of looking at the 6 of Discs and the 9 of Wands, and also the Prince of Swords. Prince of Swords, let's see what DuQuette has to say about the Prince of Swords, besides it just being a character that often appears in your okay. An ambivalent young man, bright yet unfocused. A fanatic, easily attracted to fads, cults, causes, and drugs. Can be overcautious, indecisive, and unreliable. But here's a more divinatory meaning, general. Success is possible, but only through the aid of an intelligence greater than yourself. Now it's a Yijing hexagram also, and it's number 57. The gentle, penetrating wind. Of course, air, Prince is air, swords are air, it's air of air. The gentle, penetrating wind. Hexagram 51 or 57. Success through small, subtle, but persistent means. Don't freak people out by acting unexpectedly. Gently prepare them for what is coming. Now, to me, that could describe the behavior of something profoundly different that is possibly obliging us to deal with or to accept the possibility, an earth-shaking, reality-altering event of universal significance. Now, we often talk about, it changed everybody's consciousness when we finally all accepted the fact that the sun doesn't go up or down. It's the Earth just spinning around the sun solitary. Okay, that's big stuff. Okay. Oh my God, sun doesn't die. It's on all the time. That's sort of the logic behind the Aeon of Horus being a new improved outlook on existence as the old Aeon of Osiris, where we were scared that the sun died every night. Are we prepared for another thing on that scale? Don't freak people out by acting unexpectedly. Gently prepare them for what is coming. This could also be how people that perhaps know more about this thing are trying to cautiously break the news to us. The gentle penetrating wind. And the thumbnail on this one says, oh, there we go. Now go out there and be a star. Well, that's this morning's take. The news will probably break something else tomorrow that'll make this either make more sense or make less sense. But anyway, it's my way of using two kinds of my own funky oracles here to best describe to my friends the nature of Three-Eye Atlas. Anyway, that's it for today. Let's hope there is a tomorrow. Until then, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love's the law, love under will. Go out there and be a star.